All right. Hey, y'all. Thanks for joining us for our Beef Brunch news update on Tuesday, April 4th. You just get to see Vince and I today. Lee's out in the hayfield trying to get some bales together for our upcoming field day that we have, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But Vince, I'll go ahead and let you kick it off for us.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ashley. It's a pleasure to be here as always. Yeah, it's warm and sunshiny in South Louisiana this week. As we mentioned before we started recording here, that in the northern part of the state, you've got some rains over the weekends that didn't quite make it down our way. Well, unfortunately, I guess it was March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. We had a 3.5 inch rain, and by golly, we could sure use some more since then. It's soaked it up, and we got cold after that, and then we had that Monday morning freeze following that rain event. So we had some issues with a lot of pasture that were starting to green up, and hay fields that were starting to green up had been fertilized, got burnt back from the frost and the freeze. And I think we talked about that on the last news update. But much of that has turned around, and we're starting to see some green up. But pastures are just slow to come. Again, there's still people feeding hay that have hay. A lot of people are out of hay. There's a lot of thin cattle out there, and as far as the cattle market, I think people are selling off non-productive cows that have just been grass eaters and trying to conserve what may be coming as far as moving into the spring and early summer months. So prices are still very conducive at the local sale barns here in the central and south part of the state. So if you have non-productive cows, you need to cash in on maybe buying some fertilizer, some fuel, and starting to get some hay fields ready. It might be a good resource and a quick source of income to get some of those things done, as our production costs haven't really gone down much, other than some fertilizer prices have softened some. But it's going to be time to start fertilizing hay fields and making sure that we get ample amounts of hay put up as early as possible. And I'll remind everyone that, we always have hay producers out there, and then we have cattle producers and other livestock producers that make hay, that are always eager to sell hay early. Just as a reminder and a suggestion, we often find our best hays are our early cut hays, even though there's some clover, some ryegrass mixed in, maybe a little warm summer annuals, your Bermudas and Bahias. That's generally your higher protein testing hay and generally a higher quality hay. So you might want to consider keeping that early cut hay. And I've been trying to pass that on to some of the producers in the area that I work. And we've had some of that tested, and it's remarkably a lot better than that hay you'll cut in August and September and even in October. So be mindful of that, and make sure your needs are taken care of earlier this year than we may have experienced last year. Now, granted, it's always good to help our friends in drought-stricken areas. We had a lot of hay from our area went, into Oklahoma, North Texas, and West Texas. East Texas wasn't stricken too bad with droughty conditions last year, but we sent a lot of hay away from here, and we found ourselves short as we got into the winter feeding period with that freeze we experienced Christmas weekend and New Year's week, and killing off most of our, what was fertilized as far as our ryegrass fields and what have you. So just make good business decisions moving forward. It's going to be time to spend a little money and get some things done, and make some opportunities happen possibly, and get some hay made and put up early this year if you can. I think the forecast is calling for, in our general area, anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of rain over a 3 to 5 day period, which if it comes that way, that'll be welcomed. Hopefully it's not all 4 and 5 and 6 inches in one rain event over one day. So, but we definitely can stand to use the rain. Saturday we hit 87, 88 degrees, which I think was a record high. Again, today we're in the mid 80s. Tomorrow expected to be around 86 again. So things will start growing, but it's going to, the rain event coming and it's cooler temperatures. We'll have more like spring-like conditions moving into the weekend. So with that being said, calf market's still real favorable here in our part of the world. Haven't really sat in any sale barns to get any current prices, but in talking to some of the producers here locally, it's a favorable market. Killing bulls are still, in that dollar range, maybe over $1. Yielding high yielding cows are well up in the 90s. So make good use of that market if you got non-productive animals. I talked to one producer on the phone just a few minutes ago, and he had 2 bulls that were crippled at one point in time, and he don't know what to do with them. I said, it's a pretty easy decision at this point of the game. If you need some capital to do some things around the farm, and they're not productive, or you're afraid to get them out there and them re-injure themselves, get rid of them. That's been the protocol here with non-productive animals, is to go ahead and part with them and capitalize on your losses, because it's a good market right now. And I think the calf market has been fairly stable and several dollars per 100 higher than we experienced earlier in the fall and the winter. So make good use of those markets when you can, and what fits it, and let them roll to town. So Ashley, that's about all I have right now, and hopefully we get a more seasonable spring moving forward and early summer, and we can get some things done in the hay fields.
Thank you, sir. So as Vince mentioned, yes, we did get a good bit of rain over the weekend. So we always record these on Monday. So yesterday, Sunday, I know at least in Farmerville, we didn't really have rain scheduled in the forecast, but we had a small little bit of hail that came through. And Lee and I were on a meeting earlier this morning. He was sitting at the Red River Research Station, and they had a pretty big storm that hit the Shreveport-Bossier area. So I think it kind of cut up and went into Arkansas a little bit as it hit us in Farmerville, and shifted up, didn't hit the east side of the state quite as hard as it did the Northwest. But as Vince mentioned, we do have more rain in the forecast. So the spring showers are definitely here. At least in the Union Parish area, we've got water standing everywhere, and I have a feeling it's kind of like that scattered throughout the north part of the state. So warm weather coming, but as he said, hopefully we get slow, steady showers and not just tons of rain all at once coming up over the next week and the Easter weekend. I mentioned Lee was preparing for our field day and getting some hay up. So also want to touch on the AI class real quick, and I'll say it again here in just a little bit, but we have the AI class, artificial insemination class at the Hill Farm coming up next week. That's April 12th through the 14th. We do have 1 or 2 spots open for that. So when this comes out to y'all on Tuesday morning, if you're interested in that, you need to call over to the station. I've got that phone number in the video and podcast descriptions, and see if there's any spots available for it still. If not, then we can always keep you on the interest list for it coming up later. So I say that because we were prepping cows for that a week or so ago, and our herd manager at the Hill Farm he was ready to go get rid of all these cows because prices are looking nice for those cull cows still. We told him we had to hold on to those so we could have some open cows to be able to have that class. So as I move into the markets, I'll go ahead and start with those kill cows. So lean cull cows, those are your thin conditions. They ended the week up a penny at 88 cents. The boning utilities, which are your moderate condition, ended the week up 3 cents at 98 cents. And then the breakers, your high conditioned, ended the week up 3 cents as well, up around $1. The slaughter volumes for the past week were 651,000 head. That's up 25,000 head from the previous week and increased compared with the same week last year. Choice box beef closed the week at $2.80 and 51 cents. That's steady. And a choice select spread of $10.88, which is also steady with the previous week. And that's only $1.50 higher than the 5-year average for the same week. In the National Weekly Direct Slaughter Negotiated Purchases Report, on a confirmed 95,007 head. In Texas Panhandle for the week, live purchases traded $2 to $4 higher from 165 to 167. In Kansas, the live purchases traded mostly $4 higher at 167, with a few up at 171. In Nebraska for the week, live purchases traded $4 to $7 higher from 168 to 172. In the Western Corn Belt for the week, the live purchases traded mostly $4 to $5 higher at 170, with a few hitting about 173. The live cattle futures, market settlements in the front months ended the week up, with April up $3.40 at 168.35, and then June was up $3.23 at 162.13. Your 5 to 6 weight steers, medium, large 1s and 2s, sold at an average of $2.21. That was $1 to $2 lower compared to the previous week. And your 7 to 8 weights, medium and large 1s and 2s, sold between $165 and $180. That was anywhere from $5 to $11 lower when compared to the previous week. Then when we start looking at the feedstuffs, soybean meal was steady at 501. Soybean hulls were steady at 200 a ton. Rice bran steady at 200 a ton. Cottonseed meal was down $25 at $367.50. Whole cottonseed is down I have a typo. Whole cottonseed is at 200 a ton. Corn gluten feed meal, that's a 60%, is down $5 at $7.90. DDGs were down $3.33 at $286.67, and corn is up 19 cents a bushel at $6.91 a bushel. So in terms of the upcoming events, I mentioned the AI school. Again, that's April 12th through the 14th. The Northwest Beef and Forage Field Day that Lee is currently prepping for, that is going to be on Thursday, April 27th at the Hill Farm Research Station. We kick off at 8:30 that morning, and then I can't remember what time we're done. We're done early afternoon, and lunch is provided for that. We do have a flyer. I think Lee just sent it out, so we'll get that out to y'all as well, and get it on the website in the next day or so. Southwest Louisiana Master Cattleman Program is still accepting registrations. So that's going to be weekly on Thursday nights over the summer from 6 to 9 p.m. That's going to start on May 4th. And so you can contact either Jimmy Meaux or Bradley Pousson, and I have their emails and phone numbers listed below. Then I was also asked to pass along the Louisiana Grazing Lands Conservation Initiative upcoming events. So on April 21st, they have a pasture walk. It's a no-waste micro-farm pasture walk in Greensburg. And then that's a Friday, it's from 9 to 12. And then on Saturday, May 6th, they're doing an evening on the crawfish farm, and that's going to be in Eunice. And that's going to be at Fusilier Farm. They were talking about this at a meeting last week, and so they've got a lot of fun family activities planned, so it's a great thing for y'all to come to and bring the kids, bring the whole family. So I'll link their website in the video and podcast descriptions as well. And I think that's all we have for y'all this week.
I just would like to make one comment. Just want to remind everyone this weekend on Saturday is going to be Louisiana Hereford Association sale out at Tiger Lake Auction Barn in Mansur, Louisiana. I think the cattle will be available for viewing Friday afternoon with a planned meal, I think, for those who are visiting and viewing cattle. And the sale will start at 1 o'clock on Saturday, the 8th.
Perfect. Thank you. And we are kicking back off with our live webinars, monthly webinars. So that'll be next Tuesday, April 11th at 10:30 a.m. I think I'm still finalizing all of it, but I'll probably be on talking about external parasite control as we start getting in towards the summer months. So I'll send out more information for that on through email, through the agents, and then as well as all of our social media sites. So with all of that, we will be back with y'all in just a couple of weeks. So we hope that we get some sunshine and just a tiny bit of rain.